Today you join me in Detroit, Michigan to check out the new series of Freightliner Plus models. This is the all-new set of Freightliner medium-duty trucks, and we're going to do everything from showing you what's new about them to taking them off-road here on the course. To start us off, let's take this 108 SD truck full of gravel on the off-road course and see how it handles some of the rougher roads.
I'm Greg, by the way.
Greg, I'm Case.
Case, nice to meet you.
Absolutely. So we get to take this big
108
dump truck
108
off-road.
SD, yeah.
So this might make your day a little bit more interesting. I don't have a CDL. I'm not a semi-truck driver whatsoever, so.
All right. Well, neither am I. So go ahead and take a left. Take a left.
Yeah. So for one of my first times driving a commercial truck, we're gonna take it off-road.
We are.
I know we're actually loaded up with some gravel in the back of this truck, right?
Yes, indeed.
Which is probably helpful for our comfort level.
Correct. It's good. Go ahead and continue straight. And then we're going to bypass the boulders because typically we wouldn't be driving over boulders in a snowplow.
Okay.
But yeah, so what we're
boulders look like fun.
They are fun in certain trucks that are designed to handle that. But yeah, for today we're going to avoid the extremes.
So what would be the major differences between the truck that we're in right now and a truck that's built to handle more intense off-roading?
Well, so it depends on how you're speccing the truck, right? So you can spec a 114 SD with the right suspension, the right, if we had a larger dump truck out here, that is maybe more designed to handle that type of extreme environments.
So aside from the suspension, is there any particular engineering in this to make it more suitable for off-road type of operation?
Yeah, so the cab design, the cab construction, steel reinforced aluminum, so it's passed all sorts of cab crush tests, impact tests, so it's designed for really kind of take a beating out on extreme environments. Depending on what suspensions you spec, you can get a tri-drive, three rear axle, 69,000 pounds on a 114 SD.
Yeah, and so this road kind of demonstrates what it would be like approaching a job site.
Yeah, exactly.
It's obviously not like you're taking this to Moab and doing rock crawling, but
right? No, exactly.
Rougher roads.
That's exactly
when you're
right.
Approaching a job site.
Yeah, so what you're not hearing are those squeaks and rattles you might hear on a job site, or the kind of the insulation protecting us from the cab noise. Yep. Yeah, so this is kind of a little hill mogul course.
So are there any versions of this that are four-wheel drive? Or is that
in the SD product lineup? Yeah, absolutely. M2 and SD lineup. Yep, we do offer all-wheel drive options.
Driving big trucks over dirt is a lot of fun, but the biggest feature on the new Plus Series Freightliner trucks are their Detroit Assurance 5 safety features like automatic emergency braking, which, of course, we're going to have to put to the test. So Steve, right now we're in a full-on semi and we're about to do a test of some automated emergency braking. How does this work?
Yeah, so this is Detroit Assurance 5.0, and we're going to be demonstrating active brake assist. And this is a collision mitigation system. We've got a foam target set up at the end there. We're going to simulate active emergency braking basically on a stationary target.
Right.
So a completely stopped vehicle up in front of the road, and a driver who either isn't paying attention or has become incapacitated in some way. The system is going to give the driver 1 second of an audible and visual warning, at least 1 second of some partial haptic braking, and if at that point the driver doesn't take action, the system will bring the vehicle to a complete stop and try to mitigate that situation as best as possible.
So you're going to touch no brake at all?
Yeah, so I'm actually going to leave my foot on the throttle pedal, just like a driver who was distracted or who wasn't paying attention.
Right.
And we're going to let the system take control here and get into a full braking event.
All right. There's a lot of trust.
Okay. Well, we're going to try and get out this probably around 40 miles per hour here.
Really?
We'll just see if we've got enough runway to get up to speed.
And this is a big rig. This is not a small vehicle to be heading 40 miles an hour at a stationary target.
That's right, yeah. You see the trailer on back that we have here in and we're loaded right now too. So
yeah, so right now it feels like we're cruising pretty good, and we're coming up on this car
about
fast.
40 miles per hour now. There's our partial braking and full braking. We tapped it a little bit there, but it is a collision mitigation system, right?
Well, and also imagine how much harder we would have impacted it had it not gotten on the brakes at all.
Absolutely.
It would have sent that a mile down the road.
We were going 40 miles per hour, so without any braking at all, it would have been a pretty big impact there. The system gave us a warning, we got some partial braking, and we came to a complete stop. Mitigated the situation as best as possible.
Nice. Do we want to set it up again and try a second?
Yep.
So as we get moving again, let's talk a little bit more about how the system works. So there's both the radar on the front bumper as well as a camera up here on the top of the windshield, but the radar is prioritized, right?
That's right. The radar is the primary sensor, but we call it fused technology with the camera. And basically the camera is helping add confidence to what the radar is seeing in terms of the sensor. That's important because in situations like heavy rain or fog, obviously the camera would be compromised, or at night, the camera would be compromised in those situations. But the radar functions really well in those situations. So relying on the radar, but also utilizing the camera to confirm and add confidence to the decisions that the system needs to make based on the objects and the threats that it prioritizes.
So it's like a little bit of a redundancy. If one sensor is maybe not in an ideal position to be able to measure something, then there's the other that can give it some backup.
Yep, and one of the great things that having the fuse technology that the camera was also able to help us with is getting to full braking on moving pedestrians as well.
Right.
So you think about pedestrians, obviously it's nowhere near the amount of content or the size of the vehicle. So the camera is something that's really important in being able to confirm a pedestrian while using obviously the radar signal of human bone density and human hip movement. Those two things working together.
So that way the vehicle can make a judgment call between whether or not it should do an emergency stop if it's coming up on a human, or if it's a deer or something in the road that you might not want to slam on the brakes for because of whoever is behind you.
Yep, absolutely.
Then it can make that distinction, which is pretty smart. You were saying that it's able to see about 800 feet in front of the truck?
Yeah, that's correct.
Can it make any distinctions between whether or not the truck is loaded and if it should start emergency braking sooner because of the amount of weight that it's pulling?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't adjust for road conditions or the load itself. What it's trying to determine is a point of no return based on its own algorithms. And then at that point, if we get to that full cadence of emergency braking like we experienced, what it'll do is it asks, basically it asks the ABS system and RSC and ESC, so roll stability control and electronic stability control. Those systems are then what actually perform the braking and try to bring the vehicle to a stop as best as they can based on the road conditions.
Here we go, another round. And look at that.
There's our full braking there. Yeah, so you have the 1 second of an audible and a visual warning, 1 second of that kind of partial braking, and then the full braking sequence kicking in and bringing us to a complete stop.
It's a pretty crazy feeling going full panic stop in this big of a vehicle. You really wouldn't guess by looking at it that it can actually stop that hard, but that stopped in a short distance.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's emergency braking, right? So this isn't a comfort maneuver. This is really, it's the last chance for the driver to try and take control of the situation, and then the vehicle acts and brings it to a complete stop.
Awesome. Well, what a really cool thing to see in action. Thank you for demonstrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming.
Automatic emergency braking is quite a thing to experience in a full-on semi-truck, but the safety tech on these new Freightliners doesn't end there. So right now we're pulling onto
the highway section,
and we can demonstrate a little bit of the functionality with the truck. So what in this driving experience that we're doing right now would you say separates the new Plus models from the models that are getting phased out?
Definitely the Detroit Assurance Safety Suite. Let me get into this outside lane here.
So you now have the option of adaptive cruise control just like you would get in a lot of passenger cars.
Correct. And then should the system detect a potential collision, it'll help mitigate that and apply all the braking power to mitigate that front end collision. So if I start veering to the left, it'll start buzzing at me, and on the right hand side, it would buzz on the right hand side speaker to tell you which side that you're starting to veer off the lane. And then if there was a vehicle on my right hand side, it would warn you and then also beep at you to not veer off into the passenger side, your blind side.
So it gives you both an audio and a visual.
Yes,
warning.
correct.
Nice. There you have it, the new Freightliner trucks, and what a cool way to test them out. Everything from seeing how they perform on the dirt and over obstacles, all the way to no feet on the brakes whatsoever, going straight towards something in the road, a car. So a really amazing set of technology and comfort features that have been added to these trucks. Let us know what you think down in the comments below, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Be sure to stay tuned to TFL Truck for all kinds of trucks, big and small. And check out TFL Bids and alltfl.com, where we've got all kinds of auctions going on, as well as all of the news that we're covering. See you in the next video.